Guess what? Just booked a block party.
No, you haven't.
It's different categories, man.
You just said God's in a different category. You didn't. There's no inference. You didn't give any argument.
Like, to even make an argument, right? You're gonna need a single concrete unifying principle. And only
What does that
Christians-
mean? Wait. Okay. Well, so single unifying principle. That was what you said, right?
Yeah, only Christians have a single concrete unifying principle.
Okay.
That's it.
A principle is like, but a principle is just some type. Okay, but from what formal system are you referring to when you say there's a principle? What's the formal system in question?
He doesn't know.
I can get into the single unifying language after, right? What I'm interested in is you're saying there's a principle. The way I understand a principle is something that's some type of theorem that's inferable from a set of axioms that's equally as fundamental as the axioms, but was not in the starting set. It was not a partitioner in the initial set of axioms, right? An example is like the principle of explosion, right? It was never an axiom initially of classical logic. And the reason it's considered a principle is because we can deduce from there being a contradiction, right? P and not P. Since that's exhaustive of, the possibility space, we can infer any given proposition because it's contained within the sample space of the proposition, right? The conjunctive proposition.
Yeah.
So when you say there's a principle, that's indexed to a formal system. What system?
Yeah, like what does it even mean to say, like he said, like that there is like a like a principle that's going to be like unifying, and the principle is going to be one concrete unifying thing. Like how
Yeah.
the fuck is the principle supposed to be like a concrete thing? Like what is?
Yeah, I don't make sense of that too. But presumably he's saying he's like a realist about certain elements in the system, I would assume. But I wanted to get into that language after. I just want to get clear if there's actually even a formal system that we're indexing the principle to, right? Because it's incoherent. It doesn't make any sense to endeavor into the weeds of the language when there's not even a formal system to clarify the semantics of the principle. So, PMars, when you talk about this single, concrete, unifying principle, to what system is it a principle of? What pedagogy?
I don't think he can answer any of that. But
But
like I also like go ahead.
systems
What formal system is the principle of? What pedagogy?
to even have a system, you're gonna need because like
A principle is an inferable necessary fact from an initial starting set of axioms in a formal system. So if you're saying that there's a principle irrespective of a formal system, that's just incoherent. I don't even know what you might mean by a principle there, because it's just analytically true under my semantics and the standard way axioms and principles are used in like formal system theory and stuff like that, that it's just going to require there be a formal system. What do you mean by principle then?
God.
By principle, you mean God.
Yeah, like the
What's your single concrete unifying God? So that's what you're asking? If what you mean by principle is God, then that just translates to what's your single unifying, your single concrete unifying God. Okay, I'm not committed to a God, right? So I just don't have that.
So he's just asking like, where is God in your worldview? Like,
yeah, it's trivially true. I don't have a God if I'm an atheist. So you're asking me what you asked me was in your atheistic worldview, which means it just means the agent, some particular agent, me, the agent who lacks the belief there's a God or has an attitude against the proposition God exists. What is his God? Particularly the God that unifies concretely some single unifying concrete thing. I don't know what the hell that means. What the fuck that means? Sounds like entirely gibberish. But yeah, I don't believe in a God. So I'm not even sure, because this wasn't even an argument either. This was a series. This was just a question. And the question just reduced back to what's my God in my non-God worldview. So, I don't know. It kind of seems like...
He listens to Presup arguments a lot. He just doesn't understand them when he tries to argue them.
Yeah, because we talked about this before with Jack Ingstrike. There's a video on my YouTube channel. Yeah, look, there was a video on our YouTube channel where he said that it can't happen, or can't remember exactly what he said, but obviously he like invoked that's like impossible, and when asked for the modality He was like, "Oh, I don't even know the modality." And then
Like,
Jack
is
just
he
started
like a
laughing.
PMars, if I was like you, after that discussion, I would just cease to be a presupper. If you had any brain cells, like you would do that.
Like, look, even the most respected people in academia, like William Lane Craig, would just like disown your method. Like, no theist
Called this,
takes it
like,
serious.
He said like it's logical howling to be like a presupper.
Well,
He said like it's always debating the question.
Like, I've won every debate versus an atheist with the Presup
But that's like
argument.
because listen, but
Well-
that's like you being
No, you
you know,
didn't. That's
silly, right? Because like
that,
you,
that is
But look,
fucking
Yeah.
there's multiple issues.
all he means that he won a debate is that he's
Okay, so what's the
Look,
defeat
look,
for my
wait.
argument?
Okay, wait. Well, you didn't produce an
Yeah,
argument.
an argument.
Hold on. There's multiple issues. The first issue is that there wasn't an argument. That's actually the latest thing you said. I'm just gonna address that real quick. There's no argument.
Okay, well,
But
I'm-
look,
I'm
first,
not- this is-
when you say you beat all the atheists you debate, you only attack low-hanging fruit, right? People that you know is worse than you. That's one. Second, by beat them, you mean you use crazy ambiguous language, then don't define it, and they're not clear what you're saying, and then you ask them if they have this without them defining it. So then they do their best to interpret this complete gibberish philosophical language while they don't even know any philosophy, so they wouldn't be able to navigate through the number of category errors you're making, right? Like when you say, what's the argument for logic? What grounds logic? What's your justification for logic? Like anyone who knows anything about philosophy would just know you're a retard to ask that. Because logic is the set of norms that
If you want me to not make
that
an
constitute
argument, then just please
inference
present,
making.
like an undercut or a defeater for my argument.
You haven't provided an argument. I can't undercut a non-argument.
Here's the argument. The proof for God is that
By argument, I mean a series of premises.
without
So premise one? What's premise one of the argument? I'll even write it down.
the proof for God is that you can't prove anything without the Christian worldview. That's the proof.
What's premise one of the argument that God exists? Premise one is? What's premise one?
Is this guy just like a Dolph Dawkins?
Yeah, he is.
sycophant or something? Come on.
Yeah, he literally is. He's like a Darth ball licker. But look, what's premise one of the
That-
argument?
This guy's in a fucking cult.
How do you not? Why don't you steel man the argument? What do you
I don't know what the argument is. What it means to steelman the argument is to represent the argument at its strongest. But I have yet to be presented with the argument to even represent at its strongest.
Okay.
I can't represent a non-argument at its strongest.
Look, you don't have to deal
It's
with the
not
argument.
coherent.
Fine.
It's not even an
The
argument.
argument until someone has a valid or substantive criticism or defeater for the argument.
Look,
That's it.
maybe we're equivocating.
Nobody heard an argument.
Yeah, maybe we're equivocating. When you say you have an argument, what are you understanding an argument to be? Because I understand an argument as a deductive inference, which just means there's a series of premises that, infer some conclusion. Now, you said you presented an argument, and under my semantics of argument, right, the standard way it's used in logic, no, you didn't present a series of premises. The whole VC heard, right? So maybe you mean something other than argument. Or you mean something other than what I mean by argument, and the typical logician means. Even, in fact, epistemologist. So, what do you mean by argument? In fact, I don't even think that's relevant. Under my semantics, do you have an argument? Do you have like a series of premises and a conclusion, with the conclusion being God exists? Maybe you do have a different concept of argument, but that's not what I'm interested in, right? You can have your own definition. I want to know, under my understanding of an argument, do you have an argument? So what is it? Is it yes, I have an argument, or no?
I gave you the argument.
So you gave me a series of
So,
premises?
Do you think pretending like I'm not making an argument? I don't know where do you think that's going to get you.
I just told you what I meant by an argument. Look,
Why
okay,
do you give a shit.
that's what I'm asking for. When I say, do you have an argument?
Here's the argument. Give you the argument again.
What do you?
Proof for God,
Okay,
you can't-
we gotta. Okay, hold on. I think we're confused. I know, but I think you're a little confused. What do you think I'm asking for when I ask what's the argument? What do you think when I say provide me an argument for X? What are you understanding me to be asking you to like cough up?
It doesn't matter.
Well, it does, right? It turns on whether you're providing an argument. If you have a misunderstanding of what I'm asking, of course, under your semantics, you might be thinking I'm giving an argument, or I don't know. You're like sighing.
You can think whatever you want. You can think whatever you want because it's just stupid, dude.
Look, do you have an argument? Yes or no? Okay, wait. Let me just react this. Yeah. Of course, that's what they do. This is what you guys do, unironically.
Where do they grow these?
Yeah. Anyways, do you have a series? Do you have a series of premises and a conclusion?
I mean, I've already presented all that to you. It doesn't.
Oh, wait.
Really want to.
So what was premise 1? By the way, if you want, we could do a balloon survey and just ask everyone here if they've actually heard you provide any premises. And I don't think that would be a good look. Right? So let's not be dishonest. I know it's in the nature of a precept. But look, independent of that, let's just get clear what's premise 1 of the argument.
You don't care about the argument. You just want to ask me to give an argument until like forever. So I don't not really.
I don't know where you got that from, and I also don't. I don't know if you have. Look, maybe. Yeah, sure. You can just. You haven't presented it. I'm trying to know. Yeah, that's. Look, do you think if someone gives you no argument and they say steelman that, do you think they're saying something substantial there? Or would you say they're like a
He's
retard?
just presenting like he's giving an argument, right? He's saying like, I'm pretending that I gave an argument, and I'm gonna keep like asserting that I gave an argument when I didn't, and you are
Yeah,
refusing
it's
to steal
hilarious.
my argument.
Exactly what he's
Don't you know
doing.
what the transcendental
Exactly what
argument
he's doing.
is? You never heard that?
No, I'm asking you right now what's premise 1 of the argument. I'm trying to get clear what the actual argument is. And you keep saying I gave the argument, even though everyone in the VC unanimously agrees you never gave a single premise.
Oh my god, dude.
What's premise 1?
Your mom.
See? They don't have
What are
anything
you guys
substantial.
talking about?
We're bullying a stupid Presup. He said he has an argument. He doesn't give an argument, so I was being charitable, assuming he's equivocating an argument.
An argument for what exactly?
The proposition God exists.
He's a presupper, man.
Yeah, Presuppers are
Do you
people
know,
who...
like, yeah. Do you know what is meant by presupper?
Yeah, I do. But I'm like, so if you get like, so where's this going?
Yeah,
You guys-
he's just disengaging
Yeah, we're
right
just, like,
now.
Punching him, like he's like a punching.
It's like beating a dead horse right now. He just ran away, and he just keeps doing this weird rhetoric tactic that's actually really cringe and embarrassing.
Well, what did
Where
you
he
guys start
he
with?
just
Like,
keeps
where did
scoffing
you
and
start
laughing,
from?
and then just speculating, oh, you just want to keep asking for arguments infinitely.
Yeah, we
when he
started
just
by
can't
asking
present the
him
first
to
argument.
provide an argument. Yeah, that's where we started, and that's where we ended.
How long has this been going on?
Like 10 minutes.
I don't know, 10 minutes, yeah.
So no points have been made in the last 10. Like, have you guys said anything?
No,
or anything?
monkeyboy made points there, but we don't want to like repeat ourselves because you joined late. So
Basically, he just won't give an argument.
Yeah, I proved God and I gave an argument, and then he's pretending like I didn't give an argument.
Everyone in
Yeah, pretty much
VC,
pretending like he gave an argument and that he whatever.
literally everyone in
You know,
VC
you-
said that you never gave a premise 1. No one agrees you gave a single premise.
But that's just because they're deranged atheists.
What do you mean? Not everyone here is atheist.
People who are atheists are not rational.
Okay,
Well, like I think you gave him like too much like
he's oversaturated with like substantial
yeah, like, you give him,
abuse.
like, too much of your time. I mean, PMars is like a complete trash. He's like the lowest of the lowest.
You've seen the video, right, with Jack Inkstrike and how bad, how you didn't even know the language used in tag, and you run tag even though he's like ill cognizant of what the words even mean in
What
tag.
does transcendental mean in the argument that he's like, no, I don't know.
Yeah, he said transcendental necessity. That's what it was. I was saying that he was referring to some modality that he couldn't clarify the semantics of the modality. Right? The modality was transcendental modality, right? And when me and Jack asked PMars to cough up what he means by transcendental modality, he admitted he doesn't know what he means by transcendental modality.
Yeah, he said like I haven't looked it up. I don't know.
Yeah, he said that verbatim. He said, I haven't looked it up. I don't know. Yeah, this dude is just an absolute waste of time. And then he's lying while the whole VC knows he hasn't provided an argument. Now he's saying he gave an argument and you've never said premise 1. What's the first premise?
It's literally explained in the argument when you say.
Okay, what's premise
X is a
1?
necessary- When you say X is a necessary precondition for Y, that would be a transcendental necessity. It's literally explained in the
Look,
argument.
necessity is a modal scope. You would have to clarify the modal semantics.
So it's necessary, like the Christian worldview is necessary.
Necessity is the operator, which just means that it's directly deducible from the starting set of the formal system that encapsulates the modality. You just don't know what the hell you're saying.
It's a transcendental necessity. Like it's.
And what does transcendental necessity mean?
It means it's a necessary precondition for that to be the case, like within the background information.
Doesn't that clear it up?
Yeah, that's not clear. by transcendental necessity, you mean necessary prerequisite for transcendental.
That's what the argument is. It's X is a necessary precondition for Y.
Okay.
You have Y, therefore.
When I say something is transcendentally necessary, what are the conditions there that satisfy the modality?
That's what the argument.
Do you want me to give you an example of... No, right now we're not even talking about the argument. We're trying to understand the modality that is employed in your quote-unquote argument. Here, let me give you an
Why
example.
someone-
If I say something is necessary and the modality is logical, that just means it's reducible to the axioms of logic. It's directly inferable from the axioms of logic. To say something is impossible in logical modality, when I say something is logically impossible, that means it's inconsistent with the axioms or principles of the logic. Okay, so when you say something is transcendentally necessary, I'm assuming transcendentality is like some type of formal system that holds a background of axioms, principles, and laws, right? Where we can actually generate the modal epistemology to whether something is like, actually transcendentally necessary, possible, contingent, stuff like that. So what is it?
Yeah, so it'd be all modalities, right? Because we're talking about like what determines what's
PMars
possible.
idiot.
Yeah.
What determines what
Right now we're talking about he's saying his argument to believe in God is God is transcendentally.
Well, why are you interrupting him when he's giving you your answer? No,
Yeah, look.
because
Yeah, look.
that's what they-
Look, here, let me just mute that guy. But look, he's saying that his argument for God is the fact that God is transcendentally necessary, and he's understanding transcendental necessity as some type of quote-unquote transcendental modality, and I'm asking him to give me an analysis of the modality, which...
Dude, PMars is like a complete waste of time. He's like not worth talking to at all.
True.
You should talk to
That's
him,
what I
that'd be
said,
funny.
like, to monkeyboy. I said like he's giving him like too much of his time. Like, why would you even debate this
Like,
brain
why-
that
why-
much?
Like even the people like Grug and those people are like levels above PMars.
Levels.
Yeah, let's mute these guys.